For those of you that are concerned about Seth Rollins having, quote, no direction heading into WrestleMania this year, it's all going to work itself out in the end. Cody Rhodes will be here, and Cody Rhodes will face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 38. We have gone too far with this story to not make this happen. Once again, WWE positions this Monday Night Raw to be all about the story of Seth Rollins getting a spot at WrestleMania 38. And you know what? The story heading into all of this and how they progressed it all was fantastic. Fan-freaking-tastic. I loved every single thing about it. I think we are going to have something in store waiting for all of us when it comes to next week and obviously at WrestleMania. This is going to be fan-freaking-tastic. I love it. Let's continue to love on it. This is going to be fantastic. You guys are going to not want to miss this review. This is the only place that you want to be on your Monday night, and you know where we're going to be after this. This is going to be a full Monday Night Raw review right here on Outside the Brand. Stay with us until the other side of this intro. This is Outside the Brand. We'll talk to you guys soon. Hello. Okay, yes. I was just making sure my mic was working. How's it going, everybody? We are here. What's going on, guys? This is of course Outside the Brand. Thank you so much for joining us right here on the podcast. This is your Monday Night Raw post-show review for March 21st, 2022. Of course, I am your host, Phil, and this is Outside the Brand. Thank you so much for joining us right here on your Monday nights, wherever you may be. Seth Rollins, once again, thank you so much, Marquise. We got some major stuff heading in out of this Monday Night Raw, guys. Seth Rollins was once again the main point of tonight's show. The final chance for Seth Rollins to get to WrestleMania, and that was against AJ Styles. Win, and he replaces AJ Styles in the match against Edge. Lose, and he still has, quote, no direction heading into this year's WrestleMania. The breakdown at the end of the show was great. It was fantastic. And Chicago, if any of you guys are listening, if any of you guys that were at Monday Night Raw in Chicago tonight, if any of you guys are listening, you guys killed it tonight. The Cody chants were louder than last week, obviously, as the rumors still continue to build. And man, they were chanting Cody, Cody, Cody during the Seth Rollins breakdown at the end of the show. And it was just on point. This was fantastic. Monday Night Raw has been better, obviously. Has been better than SmackDown, obviously, over these last few weeks. But then again, I don't really think that's that hard to do. SmackDown is probably the worst television show for professional wrestling that I've ever seen, especially right now. SmackDown is just god-awful besides one person, and one person only. Technically two people, and that's Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. But with that being said, other than Seth Rollins tonight, not really much happened on the show, and not really much of interesting. Not much of interesting things happened on tonight's show, other than the whole Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins situation. It's just going down to that point right now at this point. The Seth Rollins story has just been phenomenal. Getting to WrestleMania, how is he going to get to WrestleMania? How is he going to weasel his way to get possibly a spot at WrestleMania? It's just been fantastic. And, It's just going to continue to build as we get to WrestleMania in just 2 weeks' time. We only got one more Raw before WrestleMania, guys, and that's next week. This is going to be fantastic. I absolutely love it. But I have to say this. It's insane that once WWE legitimately focuses on one storyline, like this whole Seth Rollins story, they just seem to put every other storyline on the back burner and just on the other side of things, and they just completely not focus on anything at all. They've been focusing solely on Seth Rollins and this WrestleMania story heading into WrestleMania for weeks now. They've made the story a sole focal point of the show, and everything else just gets put on the back burner and the wayside. I don't know how that happens. I really don't know, especially when you have like over 12 matches on the card. You focus on one story, and it just makes no sense. But that's what's happening right now. Now, the Cody chance happened earlier on in the night, other than what happened on the final moments of the show. And you know what? Seth Rollins actually acknowledged the Cody chance earlier on tonight, stating on Monday Night Raw, quote, "Rumors are a lot of fun, but rumors don't make moments, and I am living for my WrestleMania moment," end quote. Now, it looks like from the surface that Cody Rhodes could be appearing next week on Monday Night Raw. Or, in my personal opinion, the way that should happen, it could also happen at WrestleMania. Now, you guys know my stance on this. You guys know that with the way Cody Rhodes is, and with the massive ego that he has, Cody Rhodes would want to debut on the biggest stage possible, and of course that is WrestleMania, for that big pop. Now, of course, if Cody Rhodes debuted next week on Raw, of course that would be a big pop, and that would be the biggest thing for Monday Night Raw that week. Cody Rhodes showing up on Monday Night Raw. That would be big. But that's not the way they should do it. It's not. Cody Rhodes should debut at WrestleMania, and Cody Rhodes has to debut at WrestleMania. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it at this point. Cody Rhodes has to debut at WrestleMania this year. The storyline has been absolutely perfect. And the thing is, whether he shows up next week or whether he shows up at WrestleMania, I'm going to enjoy it. Not only because I'm a Cody Rhodes fan, but because of the way that they have done with this story. They have done this story to make WrestleMania that much more intriguing. WWE has done everything that they possibly can to make this story more interesting heading into WrestleMania. The meltdown was perfect tonight for Seth Rollins. I thought it was absolutely booked brilliantly. The final match heading into that final moment of Seth Rollins having his breakdown, pretty much cursing WWE out left and right, saying that this is absolute bullshit, that he is not on WrestleMania, and he has done everything in his power to try to get to WrestleMania, and it just continues to fall behind the waistline of everything. And now, with all of this coming to fruition for WrestleMania, it just makes the perfect sense in the world to have Seth Rollins just show up at WrestleMania, just show up, saying, "Listen, at this point, I'm fucking fed up. I'm fed up with everything. WrestleMania is not going to happen until I get what I want. So, whoever has the fucking balls to come out to me right now and face me at WrestleMania to finally get the WrestleMania moment that I deserve, then the show is just not going to continue." Lights go out. Then you hear that famous line in Cody Rhodes' theme song from AEW. You have to buy the rights from the AEW theme song. There's more than one wrestling royal family, or however it goes. That famous line that happens at the beginning of Kingdom from Cody Rhodes. The lights go out. That famous line says it all. And then Cody Rhodes makes his entrance as the lights come back on. It has to happen that way. It has to happen that way, mainly because of just how everything goes on with WrestleMania. That's the biggest way possible to do this. That is the biggest way possible to do this. And knowing Cody Rhodes and the massive ego that he has, that's the only way that it should happen. You know Cody Rhodes is not supposed to debut on a random ass episode of Monday Night Raw. Yeah, sure, it would be the biggest thing heading into that night, but what better way to debut than at WrestleMania, especially since a founding father of AEW is now going to the other team, going to the other side. He is joining WWE. What bigger way to do that than at WrestleMania? You know, I'm going to use a sports analogy here, and I'm going to use it like JD did just minutes ago on his stream before I turned on the podcast tonight. If any of you guys are football fans out there, let's say your favorite player, let's say you were a big Seahawks fan, right? Let's say you're a big Seahawks fan. And the star player, the star quarterback of that team, obviously Russell Wilson, he just joined the Denver Broncos. Now, sorry, 1 second. I just had to answer some text real quick. He just joined the Denver Broncos. Okay. It's like one of your favorite players from your NFL team joining a rival team. Now, obviously, the Denver Broncos and the Seahawks, that kind of may not be the most relevant, analogy there, but you get what I mean. Let's say Lamar Jackson joined the Steelers. There, right there. Obviously, the Ravens and the Steelers have this humongous rivalry that expands generations when it comes to the NFL. If the star quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens just up and randomly left the Ravens to join the Pittsburgh Steelers, I mean, that would just send shockwaves throughout the entire that would just send shockwaves throughout the entirety of the NFL. That's what this is really. A founding father of AEW joining WWE. I mean, come on now. That speaks volumes to what's happening right now in the land of professional wrestling. And honestly, I'm all for this. Now, I understand why some of you guys might not be excited for this happening. Mainly because of that exact same reason. A founding father of AEW joins WWE. I mean, what the hell is this supposed to be about? Like, what is this really going to be about, And are they even going to treat him right, But here's the thing. Cody Rhodes does not need WWE. They don't. He doesn't. WWE needs Cody Rhodes at this point, mainly because of how bad these shows have been. You know as well as I do how bad these shows have been. And at this point in time, Cody Rhodes making WWE that much more interesting, I am all down for that, because you know what? It gives me more of a reason to watch the product. And it gives you more of a reason to watch the product as well, because I know some people that come on here that don't even watch the product. They come here to get our opinions on what's been happening. I know some of you guys don't watch the weekly product every single time. Mainly because you guys have other things to do, or mainly because WWE's just kind of lost faith in you at this point, or you've just lost faith in WWE at this point. But the fact of the matter is, Cody Rhodes is making this more interesting. And that is why I'm just going to enjoy the ride. That's exactly why I'm just going to enjoy the ride, because that is what this is all about. Cody Rhodes is making it more WrestleMania season every single time this story continues to build. So it gives me more of a reason to watch the product, and I hope it does the same for you as well. Guys, we're going to get into everything that happened here tonight on Monday Night Raw in just a quick second, but I do want to finish out this intro real quick. You guys can follow us on social media. All the TikTok links are down in the description below. You know, we got a ton of things going on over there on TikTok. I did pretty much the entirety of this Seth Rollins story that happened on tonight's Raw on my TikTok. So go follow it at PhillyMatt_. And if you guys want to follow me on any of the other social media platforms that I got, at PhillyMatt_ is where you can find me as well. That's Twitter and Instagram. And you guys can go follow me on those social media platforms. Subscribe down below. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell for all notifications. That way you never miss when we go live. We are on the road to 400 subscribers, and you guys know that we can hit that by WrestleMania time if we can just hit that subscribe button. So go do that, and also hit that bell down below as well. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button as well. It's the best way to help the video out. It's the best way to get the video out there to all you guys. And you know what? At this point in time, if you guys have friends that are enjoying professional wrestling right now, have them join this. Have them join the family, guys. Send this to your friends. Send this to your family. Let's grow the community together in any way that we possibly can. That's just the best way to do it. If you guys share the stream, if you guys share this channel, we can get to 400 subscribers by WrestleMania. That would be absolutely phenomenal. So thank you guys so much for supporting the channel in any way that you can. Go get the merch. Bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Outside the Brand and its merchandise. You guys can go get your t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, and face masks all on Bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Outside the Brand and its merchandise. Finally, before we get into the actual review, thank you guys to all the OTB supporters out there. You guys are the best community here when it comes to a TikTok podcast. You know, to be completely honest, I didn't even think we were going to get this far. But we're over 150 episodes strong, and it's all because of you guys, support this channel through thick and thin. Through the ups and the downs of this channel. And trust me, there have been some downs in on this channel and through the growth of this channel. But trust me, you guys have stuck with us throughout those entire times, and we love that. Jazz, you're back. Let's go. Thank you so much, Jazz, for joining us here. Corbin, obviously, Fortnite Noob is here. You know, we love you guys. We love that you guys are here, and we love that you guys continue to support us each and every single week. And it does not go unnoticed, trust me. We love that you guys continue to do this each and every single time. So again, I thank you. I truly appreciate you all. Let's get right in to the Monday Night Raw post-show review for March 21st, 2022, right here on Outside the Brand. Okay, guys, let's get right into the show. We kick things off on Monday Night Raw with one of the most. It was a massive troll job, but you know what? At this point, we all kind of should have expected this, and this was fantastic. We started off the show. We started off the show tonight with Stone Cold Steve Austin's music hitting. I was like, holy fucking shit. We're starting off with Stone Cold Steve Austin randomly out of nowhere. And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. we get Stone Cold Steve Austin to kick off the show. But it's Kevin Owens. It's Kevin Owens dressed up as Stone Cold Steve Austin, bald cap and all, and he poses on the turnbuckles just as the Texas Rattlesnake used to do. Owens tells the fans that they're ready to see him open a can of whoop ass on that, quote, sorry son of a bitch, Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. To get, and if you're ready to see that, give him a hell yeah. Finish dude, obviously. And Owens says, what, over and over again. Owens then assumes that the persona of Stone Cold and says he saw what Kevin Owens has been saying about him. So he drove to the desert in his crappy like golf cart and pretended to be a badass and accepted his challenge. And he did it without thinking because, to be honest, these days, okay, sorry, the app is finally loading back up now. And he did it without thinking because, to be honest, these days, the lights are barely on and doesn't do much thinking. The fans start chanting for Austin, and Owens says they must be, quote, the dumbest sons of bitches he is ever. Stone Cold Steve Austin music hit one more time. Everybody marked their lights out and everything. Everybody was just marking out. And you know what? After that, Owens just starts laughing and says, quote, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. No, actually, no. He says shame on you again because you guys are just a bunch of dumbasses. Owens then asks for a beer and gets it thrown, but he misses the catch. They throw another one, and he drops that one as well. Much to the enjoyment of the crowd, Owens then tells the guy who was throwing the beer, the stagehand, that he sucks and to get in the ring right now so that he can properly hand him a can of beer. Owens then mocks the guy for hitting him with the beer, but then he also hits him with a stunner. And then he gets in his face by trash talking just like Stone Cold Steve Austin would. Owens then goes to drink the beer, but instead throws it and poses on the top rope once again in Stone Cold Steve Austin fashion. That was just an amazing way to continue this build-up for Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin. This is fantastic. The bald cap and all just dressing up like Stone Cold Steve Austin was just an amazing touch as well. Fantastic. I love that. I love the way that they began the show tonight, mainly because we needed to build intrigue heading into this. Obviously there was a lot of intrigue heading into this with Stone Cold Steve Austin and Kevin Owens, but doing that just legitimately took the cake for me, and now I'm fully invested into Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin, whatever they do at WrestleMania, whether it is a legitimate interview or whether it legitimately turns into a fight at WrestleMania, whether that's unsanctioned or like a legitimate match at WrestleMania, I'm all for it now because that right there sold it for me perfectly. Stone Cold Steve Austin finally coming out and like legitimately coming out to the music that he's had for like years upon years upon years is going to be great to see. So I cannot wait for that. But then we had the Mysterios take on the Dirty Dawgs. And The Miz was on commentary for this match. Rey Mysterio and the Mysterios picked up the win here. Easily. I mean, it's the Dirty Dawgs. Well, what are the Mysterios supposed to lose 2 weeks before WrestleMania? Lose to the Dirty Dogs? Nah, not happening. Dominic knocked Rude onto the middle rope, hits the 619, and then goes up to top, lands a frog splash, and he gets the win. So Dominic does get the win for his team. As soon as the match ends, Miz grabs Rey Mysterio and hits a skull crushing finale on the floor, rips Rey's mask off, and then Dominic rushes to put a towel over his father's face. And the fans chant, "You suck." Seth Rollins is with Deville and Adam Pearce at this time. I hate it when they take the mask off. It's just great heel heat, Jazz. That's all what it really is. It's just great heel heat at that point. It's just what they do. Whatever they do, the face, and whenever they do the whole taking off the masks and everything like that, it's just great heel heat. That's all it really is. Seth Rollins is with Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce backstage, and he's begging them for a big spot at WrestleMania. Pearce says that he is acting like a lunatic and it won't get him what he wants. Rollins asks, "What will at this point? You guys continue to just screw me over each and every single time." He says, "Do I allow you two buffoons to at least give me another shot? Nah, I have to take my shot for what it is." Deville reminds Rollins that he had his chance last week, but he failed. Pearce says, "Listen, you leave it up to us, and we'll try to find something for you to do." Rollins just laughs, and he walks away. The Miz is on the phone with Maurice, bragging about the Mysterio mask, and he is stopped for an interview. Miz says that Logan Paul was a huge Rey Mysterio fan when he was a kid, and all he wanted was a mask. Well, Logan met his hero and realized Rey is a little jerk. Rey and Dominic tried to humiliate him and Paul, but tonight they humiliated the Mysterios. Well, he humiliated the Mysterios. My bad. He and Paul are going to beat the Mysterios at WrestleMania, but before then, he dares Logan to wear Rey Mysterio's masks on Raw next week. You see the replay of Friday Night SmackDown where Roman was mocking Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns mocked Brock Lesnar, thinking that he wasn't there. Brock then showed up to the arena and drove into the Bloodline car with a forklift, which was insane. Then he ripped the door and picked it up, and he, just kind of did a little promo with it on SmackDown. Lesnar promised Reigns is coming for blood. Lesnar promised Reigns that he is coming for blood, and next week on Raw, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar will meet face to face live on Raw. So that could be okay. That could be decent. And we'll see what happens from there. 2-on-1 handicap matches. Apollo Crews and Commander Azeez take on Omos. And Omos with the victory easily as he pins both men at the same time. After the match, Omos gets on the microphone and says that it does not matter how many there are, it does not matter how big they are. All that he knows is that he is undefeated and that he's asking someone to have the balls to step up to him on Raw or at WrestleMania, and says that it does not matter who, they'll just be dominated. Omos has a WrestleMania challenge. The rumor right now is happening that it's going to be Bobby Lashley versus Omos at WrestleMania. I'm not sure how that's going to go, but if Bobby Lashley gets another match at WrestleMania, I'm not going to be too mad about it, but against Omos, who wins that? I don't know. I don't like Omos. I just do the whole Omos call for shits and giggles. And Azeez, he really shouldn't be wrestling. To me, I really don't think he should be wrestling, but that's just my personal opinion. I don't know though. I really don't know. We come back from commercial break as AJ Styles is coming to the ring. The Phenomenal One says that he has been at home nursing his injuries and nothing but time on his hands. But if you have too much of it, it could be a dangerous thing, that being time. He watched a clip of Edge attacking him over and over again until he just went crazy. He didn't want to talk about his family. He just wants to be alone. He just wanted to be alone. Then Edge popped up on the screen and his mood lighting, and his nonsense about why he did what he did. Styles then says the fact is he doesn't care about that Edge did it. He doesn't care why Edge did it. He's here to kick Edge's teeth down his throat. Edge wanted the pit bull, he'll get it, but they don't have to wait until WrestleMania. Styles then tells Edge to be the man that he knows that he could be just to get his ass out there to the ring. AJ calls Edge a coward for not answering the call. Seth Rollins then comes out instead, and he's listening, and he's pretty much saying, listen, I got a proposition for you at this point in time. Fans start chanting Cody, but then Seth says that rumors don't make moments. And then Styles tells him to cut the crap, but Rollins says, listen, at this point I'm concerned for your well-being. I am. You should just go home and physically and emotionally heal up, and then you can come back to face Edge after WrestleMania. Come back when you're 100%, and they can come back after WrestleMania. Allow Rollins to end Edge's career on the grandest stage of them all. Styles says that Seth isn't taking his spot at WrestleMania. As long as he can walk, he's going to be there. Rollins asks, okay, so I can have your spot at WrestleMania if somehow you're just not going to be making it? Styles says that Rollins is doing the same thing that he tried to do to Kevin Owens last week. Seth says that it sounds like a good idea, but that came out of your mouth, not mine. But also, he's running out of options, so how about it? I mean, why not? Let's do it. I mean, if it came out of your mouth, you're obviously down to do it, so let's do it, right? Styles says that Seth is delusional, and that he thinks that he is going to give up his spot when he is absolutely not. He's going to do what Seth couldn't do, and that is beat Edge and take him down once and for all. Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville then come out and says that, listen, Rollins, you're going to get one last chance. You're going to get one last shot. Okay? One last shot. You're going to face AJ Styles tonight, and if you beat AJ Styles, you replace him at WrestleMania. Styles is furious at this point, and Rollins dances around the ring until AJ drops him with the right hand. Styles pummels Rollins until he rolls out of the ring. This match is seemingly going to be our main event, which it was. Zelina Vega then approaches Carmella backstage, who is obsessed with her phone. Vega berates Carmella for caring more about the reality show than their upcoming match at WrestleMania. They're in a fatal four-way tag match for the tag titles at WrestleMania. Carmella says blah, 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 and Vega throws her phone away. Vega calls her a bridezilla, and then Carmella says that phone costs more than the tacky crown on her head. Carmella then slaps Vega across the face, so Vega tackles her, and they roll around on the ground until referees separate them from the brawling. We come back from commercial break, and AJ Styles barges into Deville and Pierce's office. He berates them, saying that, I've never liked you in this position as an authority figure, and I've heard terrible things about you, saying that to Sonya Deville. This is absolutely a terrible decision, but I will beat Rollins tonight. There you go. I mean, that's pretty much what they did. And then we had Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan taking on Shayna Baszler and Natalya. This match is absolutely pointless. Shayna Baszler and Natalya picked up the win. They, after the match, Zelina Vega came down to the ring. She attacked Rhea Ripley with the staff in the back. And then Carmella attacks Natalya and Shayna Baszler at ringside. They get to the ring to meet up with Vega. But then the two of them trash talk each other, but then they ultimately hug and smile because they were faking it the whole time, to give them a false sense of security to give the rest of them false sense of security heading into WrestleMania. But they're better than ever. They're going to lose the titles at WrestleMania, but they're better than ever. We see a replay of Bianca Belair getting attacked on Monday Night Raw, and the jury is out that their WrestleMania status is in limbo. The Raw Women's Champion, big time Becky Lynch, comes out to the ring with a steel chair in hand. You don't get Shayna and Natalya. They're just a random ass tag team. They don't have anything associated with each other. They're just a random ass tag team. Becky Lynch is sitting in the ring on a steel chair. She says that there is a question. She asks herself a lot. What does it profit a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Of course, the world means something different to everybody. 15 long months. She is gone and could not be the Raw Women's Champion. And not because she was beaten, but because she relinquished it. And the longer she was gone, the more she knew she would do anything to get it back. So this is what the man profits. She is glory, the prize at the top of the mountain. This is her world. And when she comes back and the fan Bianca over her, she knew that she would sell her soul to keep the title. Becky says that Bianca doesn't have what it takes to beat her at WrestleMania, and she will happily crush her throat to do it again. Last week, she promised she'd take her hair, but she's not here. And maybe that's because she put her there, or maybe it's because Bianca knows she can't beat, that she'll get beat and lose her soul in the process. She's already sold hers, and she'd do it again every week if it meant keeping that belt on her shoulder. So what does it profit Bianca to gain the world and lose her soul? Becky will show her and the rest of the world at WrestleMania if she can make it. Not a bad promo by Becky Lynch. I mean, I was out in the kitchen doing anything possible to not hear the promo. Becky is still terrible on that microphone. No matter what happens, she's terrible on that microphone. It honestly makes me wonder if she was ever good to begin with when it comes to her mic skills. I don't know about you guys, but every single time Becky Lynch is on that microphone, it nauseates me. It nauseates me to the point where I just legitimately get up from where I'm sitting, watching the show, to completely do anything else but watch the show when she is on my television screen. I just can't take it. I can't take her in this type of role right now. And when it comes to this, I legitimately do anything else possible to get myself away from Becky Lynch and that television screen. There's just no way that I can legitimately sit through a Becky Lynch promo without trying to do something else. I don't know. I just really don't know at this point, but we'll see what happens. Have a good night, Mo. We'll talk to you soon, my man. Have a good night. And Jazz says that she's had some good ones. Maybe, but it's really up in the air right now whether she has been good to begin with for me or not. Because she's just been that absolutely terrible to me, especially in this role. Especially in this role. She has not been good as a heel, and it shows. It shows. Austin Theory is being interviewed backstage, and he says that Pat McAfee is a smart man because he apologized to him last week. Theory says that Pat has had a great career in the NFL, but he has no business being in a wrestling ring. He says that it's a win-win for him because if he beats Pat McAfee at WrestleMania, that's a feather in his cap. But if he can't, his mentor, Vince McMahon, will fire Pat. Theory then says he's facing Finn Balor tonight, and he has many selfies of the unconscious Finn Balor that he is just running out of storage on his phone. But he has room for at least one more tonight. Austin Theory then faced off against Finn Balor, the United States champion, and this was a pretty okay match. I mean, it's Finn Balor and Austin Theory. You think two fantastic professional wrestlers can do something in this matchup, right? And it was a good match. It was a good match. Finn Balor does pick up the win, but it was a roll-up victory. And it was just a good match for what it was. It was a good match between Finn Balor and Austin Theory. I think both of these guys can be the future of this company if WWE allows them to be, especially Austin Theory. But roll-up victories here, I just don't like roll-ups. I don't like roll-ups, and you guys have known that from me for months, honestly years, if you guys have been knowing me. You see a replay of last week's showdown between RK Bro and Street Profits, which resulted in Alpha Academy attacking both teams. RK Bro make their way to the ring as they face off against Alpha Academy. So they have their match, and Alpha Academy does actually pick up the win. Oh wait, no, they don't. No. Of course, Ringside News has it wrong. Gable hits a German suplex and a clothesline Orton over the top rope, but Riddle hits Gable with the Bro Derek for the win. RK Bro pick up the victory. I don't know why it says Alpha Academy were the winners here, but there you go. By the way, Jazz, I love Pat McAfee too. Pat McAfee's great. He's great in the ring too. So this is going to be a great match heading into WrestleMania. I think this is going to be good here. Austin Theory is the future of this company, and Pat McAfee is just great in the ring. So I'm looking forward to the match. Let's just see how long it goes for WrestleMania. As soon as the match ends, though, between Alpha Academy and RK Bro, Otis then sends Orton into the barricade and then gets inside the ring to attack Riddle. Suddenly, the Street Profits appear to attack Gable and Otis and then wind up dropping him on his head with it was like a 3D into a DDT. It looked pretty cool. They help Riddle up, but then to ultimately turn on him and hit a spine buster and then a frog splash combination from the heavens frog splash. and the Profits point to the WrestleMania sign as they trash talk everybody. Now, this was not a full-fledged heel turn. I highly doubt that. This is just them staking their claim that they're also here for WrestleMania and they're in that Raw Tag Team Championship match. So this is not a heel turn. It's just showing that they're still here as well. We had a mixed tornado tag match between Tamina Snuka, Akira Tozawa, Reggie, and Dana Brooke. This shit was fucking terrible. Reggie and Dana pick up the win, but who cares at that point in time? I'm just done with this 24/7 title bullshit, and I'm legitimately okay. Now, you guys are probably going to take this the wrong way. But listen, take this the way you want to take it the way you don't want to take it. But I mean this in all sincerity and all seriousness at this point. The 24/7 title needs to be gone. It just needs to throw it in the dumpster, never to be seen again. It just needs to get off television. The 24/7 title is legitimately fucking garbage at this point, and it's a complete embarrassment to what Monday Night Raw is. It's a complete embarrassment to what WWE is. How they continue to put this on TV every single week is beyond me, because ever since the 24/7 title got introduced, it's been complete and utter garbage. And it just needs to get abolished. It just needs to get abolished, and it just needs to be thrown into trash, lit on fire, never to return again. That's just the way I see it. Jazz, I see that you agree. It just needs to be gone at this point. The 24/7 title never needed to be existing in the first place. They just did it to create intrigue for Monday Night Raw when Monday Night Raw was even dying back then. It doesn't need to happen now. Just abolish the championship, let it burn, and throw it in the fucking dumpster, and I'll never see it again. Now, will that actually happen? No, because WWE just continues to fuck us over every single turn. But that's what happens. We then had AJ Styles taking on Seth Rollins. This is the final match. This is the main event of the show. And this was fantastic. If Seth Rollins wins, he replaces AJ Styles at WrestleMania to face Edge at WrestleMania. Now, honestly, this was probably considering everything that has happened with Seth Rollins over the past couple of months, let's think about it this way. This was the one that actually made the most sense. Him facing Kevin Owens last week to replace Kevin Owens for an interview with Stone Cold Steve Austin, that made legitimately no sense. But with this and AJ Styles, especially facing Edge, this made all the more sense in the world. This made all the more sense in the world, mainly because of the story between Edge and Seth Rollins over the past couple of years, over the past couple of months, I'll say. This made the most sense, mainly to have a match. Who can replace who to get a match against Edge at WrestleMania? Now, obviously, Seth Rollins is going to lose this year. Obviously, I mean, AJ Styles versus Edge has been the match that we've all been wanting to see. Of course, there's no build towards it, but it's AJ Styles versus Edge. I mean, I don't really think you really need that much build in order to get there. Of course, Seth Rollins is going to lose, but at least it kind of makes sense because of the past that Seth Rollins and Edge have had in past storylines. from time to time. This was a great match. Great match, back and forth. Everything about this. It screamed WrestleMania mainly because of the fact it had major implications for the match. It was always going to be a one match thing, Jazz, between Roman and Seth. It could have been a 2-match deal. It could have been a 2-match thing if you didn't have Roman face fucking Goldberg at Elimination Chamber. But no, they just had to give, Goldberg that sweet salty money before he can officially just go home to his 30-year-old son. But it was always going to be a 1-match deal. It was always going to be a 1-match deal, and they're never going to explore Roman and Seth again because we finally just got it done and over with. It could have been a 2-match thing. But of course, Goldberg just has to be here and ruin everything. I don't know, Jazz. I mean, that's a really hard stretch. I mean, him screwing Roman out of the title, that would mean Brock has both championships, and we know Brock Lesnar is not going to stick around after WrestleMania. We know that, which is why Roman Reigns is going to win the match at WrestleMania. Maybe you can explore Seth and Roman again after WrestleMania, but at this point in time, it was always going to be a one-time thing. And Seth Rollins interfering in other WrestleMania matches, Seth is going to be in WrestleMania. He's going to have a match against Cody. He's going to have a match against Cody Rhodes. So I think him interfering in other WrestleMania matches just wouldn't make sense, especially, like you said, Seth is going to be at WrestleMania anyway, but he's going to be in a WrestleMania match against Cody Rhodes. We've gone way too far for it to not be Cody Rhodes. So Cody Rhodes will be there at WrestleMania, and he'll just debut at that point in time. But the point of this match was whoever wins gets Edge at WrestleMania. This match is fantastic, though. Styles fights Rollins off for the moment, but Seth leaps back up, and AJ slides between his legs and trips him. Seth then lands badly on his knee. I thought something legitimately happened to Seth Rollins' knee, but it was all for the selling of the match. And AJ quickly lifts him up in a torture rack position for a torture rack bomb for a near fall. Styles then goes to the apron for the phenomenal forearm, but he eats a super kick in mid-air. Rollins then lifts him and hits him with a buckle bomb, and then goes to the top rope for a frog splash. But because he looked at the WrestleMania sign, Styles was able to get the knees up, and Styles goes for the forearm again, but Edge hits him in the back with a steel chair. Perfect. Winner by disqualification is AJ Styles. Edge appeared out of nowhere, hit Styles with a steel chair in the back, and that immediately takes Rollins' chances out for WrestleMania. Because of the disqualification finish, he is going to WrestleMania to face Edge and not Seth Rollins. Edge doesn't want to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. He wants to face AJ. So that's why he attacks AJ instead. Edge leaves, and Rollins goes to the announce desk and rips the lid off, and he just tears it all apart. He is fucking pissed off at this point, knowing that he just got screwed over again after everything that has been happening. He grabs a microphone. Seth Rollins says that this is bullshit. He says next week, Monday Night Raw will not be taking place unless he gets what he wants, and that is his WrestleMania moment. Seth Rollins throws the microphone and starts ripping the barricade apart. He kicks the barricade down. He rips a side barricade off its legitimate steel posting as the crowd chants, "Cody, Cody, Cody." Rollins then rips part of the ringside barricade off, and then he rips the steel steps apart. He flips over the announce desks, and he tears up a sign from a crowd member. He said, quote, "Next week, Monday Night Raw will not be happening unless I get what I deserve, unless I get my WrestleMania moment." He has finally reached a breaking point, Seth Rollins has, and he is just completely fed up and done. And that is how Monday Night Raw fades to black and goes off the air. Other than Seth Rollins' story, Monday Night Raw was just either rematches or rehashes of legitimate WrestleMania matches that we are going to be seeing. And that's just not WrestleMania build to me. Let's take the Fatal 4-Way for the Women's Tag Team Championships, for example. You had two teams that are going to be in that Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania face off against each other tonight. And then next week, it was announced that all four teams that are going to be in that Fatal 4-Way tag match are going to be in an 8-women tag next week on Raw. How is that build-up? How is that build-up? I understand doing tag team rivalries. You really can't do much other than doing either singles or legitimate tag matches between the two. But that's not build-up to me. That's not build-up to me. Other than the Seth Rollins story tonight, this show was complete garbage. It does not make sense that you can focus on one single storyline throughout the entire show and leave all the other ones to the back burner, to the other side of the show, and just never really mention anything. Yeah, sure, you can mention that, oh my gosh, these 4 teams are going to be happening at WrestleMania for the women's tag team titles. But having just a tag match between 2 of the competitors, that's not WrestleMania build. That's not. Having RK Bro face off against the Alpha Academy tonight, that's not built to me. It's not built to me. And yes, obviously, the Raw Tag Team division is not that stacked. So, I mean, what else are they going to do? But that's not build up to me. You got to build something else up. You got to use these tag team rivalries in better ways so that you can at least build intrigue into those matchups heading into WrestleMania. Otherwise, you're going to be like me and you're just not going to be invested. I don't know. But that's how the show goes off the air tonight. And exactly, Jazz, we've seen it so many times, maybe because there's only 3 tag teams on the roster: Street Profits, Alpha Academy, and RK Bro. I guess you can count the Mysterios as a tag team, but they got their own shit going on with Miz and Logan Paul, which is another fucking issue with all these celebrities showing up. But at the end of the day, it is WrestleMania season, whether anybody knows it or not, whether anybody believes that it's WrestleMania season or not. And yeah, it's happening. And it's happening on April 3rd, April 4th. No, April 2nd and April 3rd. And we'll see what happens. So that's it, guys, for your Monday Night Raw review tonight. This is going to be an interesting... we only got 3 more shows until WrestleMania. So we got this week's SmackDown, we got next week's Raw, and then we got next week's Friday Night SmackDown. And we'll see what happens from there, and then WrestleMania. Now, I want to ask you guys something because I'm gonna have to bring this up in the group chat later on. I'll probably just bring it up to them tomorrow. But how would you guys like to see a WrestleMania review? Would you guys like to see both nights in review? So like we watch WrestleMania night 1 on Saturday and then we come on to OTB to review WrestleMania night 1? Or do you guys want us to watch both WrestleMania night 1 and night 2, and then for the Tuesday's talk, we just talk about WrestleMania in its entirety in a full WrestleMania review for both nights, night 1 and night 2? I might actually do a poll on that on my TikTok, but I do kind of want to ask you guys right now, for the people that are here, do we do it night by night or a full WrestleMania review on a Tuesday's talk, which would be April 5th edition of Tuesday's talk? I think doing the Tuesday's talk is probably going to be the best bet, but I do want to get you guys' input, and I will make the poll for TikTok as well. Or if you guys just want me to make the poll and not just answer here, just answer it on the TikTok so that everybody can get their chance to vote on it. I think that would be the best course of action, considering, I mean, when it's usually me on the podcast, there's not really too much of people here, but again, I think I'm just gonna make the poll regardless. But Jazz says, yeah, I want to see both nights so you can get your feelings out, and we'll still while it's still fresh. Okay, so most likely it's going to be a Tuesday's talk doing a full WrestleMania review for both night 1 and night 2, but I will make that TikTok anyway with the poll. That way everybody can make their choice as to what they would like to see for Outside the Brand on that episode of Tuesday's talk. Doing it for both nights, like 2 reviews for WrestleMania, wouldn't be bad, but doing a one full review of WrestleMania for both night 1 and night 2 could be the best course of action. So we'll talk about it, and we'll see going on from there. Plus, we can obviously talk about the night after WrestleMania as well on that episode of Tuesday's talk, because obviously Tuesday happens after Monday, so we can all talk about WrestleMania and the night after WrestleMania and see what happens from there. So I think that would be the best course of action, but I'll let the guys know, and we'll go from there along with that poll on TikTok. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys very soon. I don't know what we're going to be doing about this episode of Tuesday's talk. I can talk about it tonight, being that it is Tuesday. It is the 22nd. I don't know what we're going to be doing for this episode of Tuesday's talk, but we'll figure it out, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night, guys. Peace, love, all that good stuff. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the bell for all notifications. That way you never miss when we go live. And also go to bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Outside the Brand and its merchandise. I actually just got a new design for 1C, and it looks absolutely great. We will get that on the shop within the next coming week or so. And we can do a lot more things for bonfire.com as the weeks progress for Bonfire to get more merch out to you guys. So bonfire.com, the exclusive home of Outside the Brand and its merchandise. Thank you guys so much for being here. Jazz, it's great to see you again. Whether you can be here live or whether you can be here just watching the podcast after the fact, we know that you're here, and we know that you're here in spirit every single time because you've been an OTB supporter from the get-go. So we love that, and just continue being you, girl, and we love that you continue doing this every single time. Love you. Have a good night, and we'll talk to you very soon. And it's gonna be a great next few weeks, guys. It's gonna be a great next few episodes of Outside the Brand as we head closer to WrestleMania. We love you guys. Stay safe. Have a good night. And we'll talk soon. Have a good night, guys. Peace out. Have a good night. We the ones. We are the ones.